All right, who's taking home the 2026 Ballon d'Or? It's the ultimate question in global football as we head into the most high-stakes, absolutely thrilling phase of the season. With the era of those predictable two-horse races firmly in the rearview mirror, we're looking at a landscape packed with generational goal scorers, teenage prodigies, and legendary veterans who are just refusing to fade away.
Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into the 2026 Ballon d'Or Power Rankings. No fluff, we're relying straight on the data, the massive performance shifts, and the critical upcoming tournaments to break down exactly who is leading the race for football's most prestigious individual prize and why.
Here's our roadmap for today. We've got 1. A wide-open race. 2. Criteria for golden glory. 3. The goal-scoring machines. 4. Maestros and playmakers. 5. The legendary wildcards. And finally, 6. The World Cup decider.
So let's jump right into Section 1, a wide open race. For practically 20 years, this award was basically a lock for two guys. But yeah, that era? Completely over. Remember Ousmane Dembele's shock win back in 2025? That literally shattered the old monopoly. He emerged from a pretty inconsistent career to snag the golden ball just by helping Paris Saint-Germain secure their first European Cup. It proved you don't need a 10-year track record to win anymore. You just need one spectacular, perfectly timed campaign. And because of that precedent, the 2026 field is without a doubt the most unpredictable we've seen this century.
Moving on to Section 2, criteria for golden glory.
Before we get to the rankings, we have to talk about how this thing is actually decided today, because the rules have fundamentally changed. Crucially, this is only the fourth time in the award's entire history that voting is based on the traditional football season, the 25-26 campaign, rather than the calendar year. This is a total game changer for how we look at momentum. A hot streak in October is great, sure, but peaking in May and June, that's what actually gets you the trophy. When the journalists cast their votes, they're looking at a specific mix of metrics. Obviously, raw output is huge: goals, assists, and clean sheets for the defenders. But they also heavily weigh trophies, general form, and honestly, the big moments. Just one outrageous piece of magic in a Champions League semifinal or lifting a massive domestic cup can totally tip the scales when the race is this tight. All right, Section 3, the goal-scoring machines. Let's talk about the pure strikers who are putting up absolute video game numbers this season. I mean, the sheer dominance of Harry Kane right now is staggering. Look at this comparison. Kylian Mbappé is sitting on an incredible 42 goals for Real Madrid. Erling Haaland has 38 goals and 9 assists, driving Man City forward. But then you look at Kane. 61 goals for Bayern Munich, bringing home the Bundesliga and DFB Pokal. 61. During this run, he actually became the fastest player this century to hit 100 goals for a club in Europe's top 5 leagues, doing it in just 104 games. Unbelievable. And when you combine goals and assists to look at total goal contributions, the visual gap here is just crazy. Kane is at 68, miles ahead of Mbappé at 49, and Haaland at 47. You see, Kane isn't just finishing chances. He's dropping deep, playing almost like a holding midfielder sometimes to create space, and generating this massive overall output for his team. Purely by the numbers, he is absolutely the current frontrunner. Next up, Section 4, Maestros and Playmakers. Because look, football isn't just about the strikers, right? It's about the creators and the midfield generals dictating the rhythm. And we've got a really fascinating contrast here. On the left, Barcelona's teenage sensation Lamine Yamal. At just 18 years old, he's driven his team to a La Liga title with 24 goals and 18 assists. If he wins, he's the youngest Ballon d'Or winner ever. On the right, you have the reigning champ, Ousmane Dembélé. He's sitting on 19 goals and 11 assists for PSG, but his whole case is built on those massive clutch moments, like that outrageous chip against Lille, which is an early Puskas contender, and his huge performances in the Champions League knockouts. But impact can't always be measured in goals. Take Declan Rice. The guy entirely justified his £100 million price tag by being the absolute engine that inspired Arsenal to their first Premier League title since 2004. Think about that. Then there's Michael Olise, racking up a ridiculous 31 assists as Bayern's main creator, and Vitinha, who has been an absolute dictator in PSG's midfield. His silky technical ability has easily pushed him right into the podium conversation. Now, we have to acknowledge that these rankings are incredibly subjective and fiercely debated. Just look at this fan comment. People are arguing intensely over snubs. You've got fans screaming for Mo Salah, pointing to his relentless world-class output in the Premier League. Others are arguing about Vinícius Júnior, who admittedly had a tough 2025 but has started 2026 on absolute fire.
We're just reporting the data consensus here, not taking sides. But it really shows how passionately invested the entire football world is in this award. Which brings us to Section 5, the legendary wild cards.
Yes, we are still talking about Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, because these enduring veterans are absolutely refusing to go quietly into retirement. Just look at the numbers they're still putting up. Messi guided Inter Miami to an MLS Cup with 32 goals, 20 assists, and another MVP award. Meanwhile, Ronaldo was over at Al Nassr leading the Saudi Pro League with 32 goals of his own. Now, normally, domestic stats outside of Europe aren't enough to secure the Ballon d'Or alone. But, well, these aren't your usual players. To really put into perspective the rare air Cristiano Ronaldo is trying to reach right now, check out this historical fact. Only one player in the entire history of the sport has won the Ballon d'Or aged 40 or above, and that was the inaugural winner, Sir Stanley Matthews. The fact that an aging Messi and Ronaldo are even on the radar is a massive testament to their unmatched longevity, especially with their upcoming opportunities on the international stage.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 6, the World Cup decider.
Because, above all else, 2026 is a World Cup year. The summer tournament in North America is going to carry massive and probably overriding weight for the voting journalists. When you have club rivals who are neck and neck on goals and domestic cups, the World Cup serves as the ultimate, undisputable tiebreaker.
So the formula for this season is actually pretty clear. Club form plus international glory equals the 2026 Golden Ball. Sure, Harry Kane has the insane goal tally, but can he finally lead England to a major trophy? Will Lamine Yamal light up the world stage for Spain? Can Mbappé break even more records for France? Or is Messi going to orchestrate one last magical title defense with Argentina? Everything we've seen so far in domestic leagues and the Champions League, it's just the prologue to what's about to happen under the absolute brightest global spotlight. The stage is perfectly set. The contenders are locked in, and honestly, the narratives are practically writing themselves right now. We've gone through the stats, the playmakers, and those legendary wildcards. But now, I want to hand it over to you. As you watch the rest of this season play out and the drama of the World Cup takes center stage, after that final whistle blows in North America, who do you actually think will lift the 2026 Golden Ball? Keep these stats in your back pocket, enjoy the beautiful game, and we'll see you in the next explainer.